knowing the state of the world now and everything, how are you planning to raise your daughter or potential other children in a Hispanic household, Hispanic background? And if so, like, how are you planning on explaining to your children like their Hispanic heritage and how important that is?
There is many things that you learn becoming a parent. The most important lesson that I have received is that kids learn much more from observing the way you act that when you told them. If you actually told them you have to be honest, by they see you stealing something, they would actually know the contradiction and they would be actually understand that stealing is right. So why do I bring this first? Because I think that the most important thing is that I don't, if you just tell somebody that they belong to a community or they have some background, it doesn't mean that he or she will be actually grow up learning that she's part of the community. But if you grow up in a community that reflects a lot of your traditional values, he or she will feel that she's part of that. And let me just put one simple example. Hannah, which is my beautiful baby daughter, attends Duke childcare. It's a Bright Horizon childcare, and they are always happy to have her because she's a really happy, emotional baby who dances a lot. In our house, we dance a lot, and that's one of the main aspects of Latinos. We celebrate everything, so we have traditional Latin American music all the time. I dance even when I clean. I dance everything. So she's always looking at us dancing, and she's used to dance all the time and to celebrate. That's part of her cultural background. So that's just one of the multiple elements that we are gonna give her as part of her Hispanic heritage. However, I believe that we shouldn't restrict her just to grow up as an Hispanic girl or something, like just from one identity. What we are trying to explain her is that she needs to grow up in a multicultural body where she's actually able to connect with different components of the different cultures. She's actually, her parents are immigrants. Her parents were exposed to a lot of deprived resources growing up, but we are giving her the access to the best education and to a different values that different education that we were raised. The values could be the same, but also she was born in the United States, so she at some point she's also many of the things she's actually exposed to this type of to the cultures from this country. But we are also teaching her that in her, for example, one of the things we love from childcare is that we have a multicultural perspective in which have different races. So one of her favorite teachers is Mr. Mark, and Mr. Mark is a tremendous guy who's really sweet, and he's an African American guy who's like 1.9 meters, and he's like this giant guy who's really friendly, and he's like that. So we are actually talking with Hannah a lot about prejudices. Like, if somebody is big, it doesn't mean he or she is bad. If somebody has a skin color that it's different to the one that you have, it doesn't mean that it's good or bad. We have had also Muslims teaching her in classroom, and we teach them like, hey, sometimes you have different beliefs and different ways of actually dressing. You can go, some women can actually have a burqa, and they would actually never show their face completely because that's what they believe is important. You have to respect that. You have to learn what they do it. It doesn't mean that you have to follow and copy everything that everybody's doing. So that's what we are trying.